We have really great sponsors like EH Financial. Sponsor us and we'll promote you on the show too. Now on to the Morning Buzz. We have some discussion going on after Trump came back from Ohio.
Yep.
He discussed the idea of really vetting the immigrants.
Yeah, so what he was talking about is that he wants to create stricter policies for people that are coming into the United States. And what he says is that he wants to test them to see if they have Western values. And so with us today, we have Steve Lamb with the Center for Progressive Urban Politics to talk with us a little bit more about this.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you, Mary.
As always, yeah. So what do you think about that?
I think it's an awesome idea. If you look at the rest of the world, everybody else in the world vets their immigrants really thoroughly. My wife is Dutch, and you don't get to become a Dutch citizen unless you pass like complete thorough background check. They check up and make you take a test on Dutch history, on Dutch culture. They're very serious that you're going to integrate.
For citizenship, they want you to do more.
You're going to integrate into their society. And they're very strict about that.
So with this test that he's proposing, he specifically mentioned like the LGBT community, saying that he's going to check to see whether they agree with those values. And why do you think that he brought that up and made it such a big point?
I think Islam and a lot of other religions have real serious problems with tolerance. And I think he's saying, look, if we're going to have an inclusive democratic America, we're not going to let people in who have the opposite values of that because it's destructive.
Well, do you also think, though, that that goes against our views, thinking that anyone can have their own opinions about things?
No, I'm a Jeffersonian. And, Jefferson was real clear that some thought patterns were incompatible with democracy. And certainly a thought pattern that reduces women to the level of animals, that says gay people must be killed, that is actually completely intolerant of all other thought patterns is incompatible with democracy, and it's incompatible with our society.
Well, and have we more or less stopped the vetting process? I mean, aren't some of these things that we normally should be doing? Why it seems like we've taken a big step backwards to take a step forward into what we should be doing anyway.
It's really strange because you hear Trump announce what his policies are going to be and you go, well, aren't most of those policy now? And they are written policy now, but they're not being followed now. For whatever reason, I don't know how that happened.
Which is probably why they've even said that maybe that's why they created ISIS, right? Is that why you think, what was the statement with Trump actually saying they founded ISIS? I mean, we know that's not the case, but when you allow something to boil to the point that it has by
You're going to get me into conspiracy theory now, you know that. You're going to get me into Albert Pike and his Luciferian thing that he talked about 150 years ago, to use Islam to destroy Christianity in the West and bring about a Luciferian empire on the entire earth. And that's kind of like, that sounds like crazy talk, right? But you see what's going on in the world now, and you see that Soros is doing a lot of the financial backing of all this. And you go, well, okay, Albert Pike was crazy and that's all lunacy, but I'm looking at it happening now.
Yeah, and maybe some would even say, look at the book of Revelations, too. Are we even facing
You can read that one, too, yeah. Pike didn't like that one, by the way, but yeah.
So where do we go from here as far as, will this keep us safer? Are there preposterous components to within what Trump is saying we should be doing?
The strange thing about Trump's proposals is that they're pretty much along the lines of what Ellis Island always was. I mean, the Democratic Party is always talking about, we're a nation of immigrants, we're a nation of immigrants. Well, yes, we are, but the immigrants who came here came through Ellis Island, and they went through a very steep vetting process to get here. Except my great-grandmother, who was an illegal alien who jumped the boat, but never, long story. But yeah, no, to get here, it was a really deep and difficult process.
Yeah, and if you were sick, they sent you back.
They sent you back to die. You know, you're going to go back to
Yeah.
Europe and die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then another question is, I mean, you already said that a lot of these policies are already in place, but just not being followed. So how much do you think the American public will look at this and say, oh, well, he's just another person saying that he's going to do this and not follow through? Because that's always viewed as an issue in politics as well.
Well, sadly, if you look at his television show, you know, his follow-through isn't so great. So, I mean, I don't know, because,
So
you know,
you're not for Trump now?
I
or are
am
you-
not for Trump.
Oh.
I am not for
So
Trump.
are you for Hillary then?
Oh, hell no. No, I will vote for the devil before I'll vote for Hillary.
All right.
She's
Can we say that on TV?
pure toxic waste. Yeah, no, so I don't know who I'm going to vote for, because, you know, the choices are all really awful.
It's a difficult one this year. So Steve
is.
Lamb, thank you so much for being on with us. Will
Thank
you
you,
join us
Mary.
for another Morning Buzz?
I'd love to.
All right. So then we have up next, we have Chris Peterson with the West Covina Christian School. We have some options then, right?
Yeah, so I think he's going to try to explain to us why we should take a look at his school.
I think
Up next.
Yeah, her school. Yeah, sounds good. Chris is very confusing.
Yeah, yeah.
Up next.